I am here both on YouTube eventually and on IG. I hope everyone is having a wonderful start to September. I took a lot of time with my family, and I am thankful that I did, and I'm thankful to get back to routine. Uh, doing another reading today from the Parents Tao Te Ching. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, I do the reading from the original poems and then the one that is dedicated to parents and the interpretation by William Martin. And then, of course, I share my insights. So, without further ado, let's get started. Chapter or poem 15. The wise men of yore were profound and knew the ways of subtlety and discernment. His wisdom is beyond our comprehension. 1 minute, please. Okay. His wisdom is beyond our comprehension. As their knowledge was so superior, I can only give a poor description. They were careful like crossing a frozen stream in winter, alert as if they were surrounded on all sides by an enemy, courteous as guests, fluid like melting ice, intact as an uncarved block of wood, receptive as a valley, complicated as murky water. Who can stand still until its mud settles and the water cleans itself? Can you remain calm until the right action happens on its own? The master does not seek fulfillment because only those that are not full can be used, which brings the feeling of fullness. Okay, that is the original poem, and I'm going to read the Parents Tao Te Ching interpretation for modern day parenting. And the author, William Martin, labels poem 15 as Be Alert and Mindful. All right, let's get into this one. If you would be a wise parent, be careful in all you do and say. Know that each action, each word has its effect. Be alert and mindful, living fully in each present moment. Treat your children with courtesy as you would treat a guest. Be ready in a moment to let go of one plan and embark on another if your inner voice so urges. Have room within your heart to hear the voice of both your children and your own spirit. Do not expect fulfillment from events or people outside yourself. Welcome and accept things as they are. Welcome and accept children as they are. At the end of each poem, he then has a little bit of insight, and then I'll continue on. It's a quick one from him today. Treat yourself with gentle care. These qualities emerge naturally, not by force of will. Okay, there's so much to say here. I was actually just speaking with a client about, parenting and knowing all the things and reading the books and knowing the strategies, and you could have all the information and we could still get lost in what it's like to be a human being and what it's like to do the things that we need to do as a parent, especially the frontal lobe executive functions that we need to do for our children who are still developing their brain. So on that note, it's important for us to be balanced in how we parent and not to be so hard on ourselves and also not to be so hard on our kids. I love this. I love a couple of things in the way that it was interpreted for this particular book. And one thing that I really love is know that each action, each word has an effect. I have this cup I bought a while ago. It's I put a spell on you. It says, I put a spell on you. Literally, our words are like casting spells, if you will, okay? Or they have an effect, both good and bad. So it's really important to be mindful of what we're saying, not only to our children, but also to ourselves. I talk a lot about, with my clients, I talk a lot about our inner dialogue and what we're saying about our kids. Oh, they never listen. Oh, they're frustrating. Oh, I don't got this right. I don't have this. This is so hard. Which are all very normal, natural things for us to say as parents, depending on the season of our parenting, and the development of our children. And the more you are aware of your inner dialogue, the more you can be intentional with what you say to yourself and out loud. So it's really important for us to start being mindful, to start being aware and intentional. Okay, normally, if most humans walk along this planet Earth and they are very unaware or very automatic, very reactionary. Um, and it's a practice, okay, to really step aside and be the awareness of your mind, be the awareness of your actions, be the awareness that you are not your children, even though you are a parent. And that's a weird concept sometimes for a lot of people because children are not extensions of us, and yet they're in our care and our guidance, and our words have an impact. So it's always finding that balance. And I love going back to this. The other line that really stood out to me is have room within your heart to hear the voice of both your children and your spirit. So, what is your child's journey? What is your own journey? And where can you walk alongside with your child? And where will you start to let go? And that's something that doesn't just come with age, it's sometimes an everyday thing. Sometimes, again, depending on the season of your parenting. Um, and then I'll read this last one again. There's so many good things, but I'll read these last two, maybe three lines. Do not expect fulfillment from events or people outside of yourself. If we have not learned yet to learn to validate within ourselves and not look for validation outside, if this is a new concept, I really encourage you to start being open to that. And when we parent kids, and this is where it gets a little tricky because we want kids to be able to do the right things, be good, decent human beings. At the same time, validating them based on what we think is right, we have to be very mindful of our wording that we are encouraging our children to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because that we're telling them to do that. And this is tricky. And I work with clients on this all the time because we talk about our family values, and we talk about instilling those, but in a very indirect and counterintuitive way. And that's where the magic is of parenting a child and guiding them without being so authoritative and external about it. I'll read the last thing that I think is really important. Welcome and accept things as they are. Welcome and accept children as they are. If you have what we call gladiator type kid, which is a type of kid who is very relentlessly defiant, oppositional most of the time, negotiates relentlessly, often says no. It is so hard to accept things as they are. But remember, the more we resist, the more that will persist. So there is some beauty, and there is, again, a pathway within acceptance, accepting things as they are. That doesn't mean you just roll over and do whatever. It means that we accept things as they are and still guide. And that's really important. Those things are not necessarily mutually exclusive. You can guide and Accept things as they are, even though they may not be exactly as you wish them to be. And this is where our own individual journeys come into play. And yet, you can still be a parent and guide your child in a very, again, like I said, counterintuitive way. And when I say counterintuitive, I don't mean going against your own intuition. I mean the traditional parenting style. So much in this wonderful poem. I love reading these because I think it really brings an invitation to be aware of some insights that maybe we tend to forget. And can be a remembering for our purpose, our journey. And I really, really do hope you got something wonderful out of this. And if there's any questions, feel free to let me know. Hope you have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. And I will see you all next time. Bye for now.